Chapter 18. 3. The Gog and Magog War, Third Prophecy. As we come to the end of the first and second prophecy in this book, we must prepare ourselves for a brief hiatus before embarking on the third and final event. Not that you need a break, but the world does as it recovers from the shock of Damascus being destroyed. But the world will not remain silent for long as Damascus becomes the prelude for a much greater conflict, known as the Gog and Magog War. The prophecy that follows is exceptionally detailed. Encompassing 2 entire chapters of Ezekiel, spanning 52 verses, the Gog and Magog War is one of the longest prophecies outside of the book of Revelation. Indeed, full books have been written on this topic alone. It is therefore impossible for me to expound on every aspect of this scripture in these pages. Nevertheless, it is my intention to consider the main points, especially as they relate to current world events. Although the prophecy is lengthy, I urge you to read it in its entirety, perhaps even twice before we delve into study. I have included the complete text, along with chapter and verse numbers from the New International Version (NIV), to aid you in this matter. Ezekiel 38 reads, "The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, set your face against Gog, of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Rush, Meshech and Tubal, prophesy against him and say, This is what the sovereign Lord says, I am against you, Gog, chief prince of Rush, Meshech, and Tubal. I will turn you around, put hooks in your jaws and bring you out with your whole army, your horses, your horsemen fully armed, and a great horde with large and small shields, all of them brandishing their swords. Persia, Cush and Put will be with them, all with shields and helmets, also Gomer with all its troops, and Beth Togarmah from the far north with all its troops, the many nations with you. Get ready, be prepared, you and all the hordes gathered about you, and take command of them. After many days you will be called to arms. In future years you will invade a land that has recovered from war, whose people were gathered from many nations to the mountains of Israel, which had long been desolate. They had been brought out from the nations, and now all of them live in safety. You and all your troops and the many nations with you will go up, advancing like a storm, you will be like a cloud covering the land. This is what the sovereign Lord says, on that day thoughts will come into your mind and you will devise an evil scheme. You will say, I will invade a land of unwalled villages, I will attack a peaceful and unsuspecting people, all of them living without walls and without gates and bars. I will plunder and loot and turn my hand against the resettled ruins and the people gathered from the nations, rich in livestock and goods, living at the center of the land. Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish and all her villages will say to you, Have you come to plunder? Have you gathered your hordes to loot, to carry off silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods and to seize much plunder? Therefore, Son of man, prophesy and say to Gog, This is what the sovereign Lord says, in that day, when my people Israel are living in safety, will you not take notice of it? You will come from your place in the far north, you and many nations with you, all of them riding on horses, a great horde, a mighty army. You will advance against my people Israel like a cloud that covers the land. In days to come, Gog, I will bring you against my land, so that the nations may know me when I am proved holy through you before their eyes. This is what the sovereign Lord says, You are the one I spoke of in former days by my servants the prophets of Israel. At that time, they prophesied for years that I would bring you against them. This is what will happen in that day. When Gog attacks the land of Israel, my hot anger will be aroused, declares the sovereign Lord. In my zeal and fiery wrath I declare that at that time there shall be a great earthquake in the land of Israel. The fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the beasts of the field, every creature that moves along the ground, and all the people on the face of the earth will tremble at my presence. The mountains will be overturned, the cliffs will crumble and every wall will fall to the ground. I will summon a sword against Gog on all my mountains, declares the sovereign Lord. Every man's sword will be against his brother. I will execute judgment on him with plague and bloodshed, I will pour down torrents of rain, hailstones and burning sulfur on him and on his troops and on the many nations with him. And so I will show my greatness and my holiness, and I will make myself known in the sight of many nations. Then they will know that I am the Lord. And Ezekiel 39 reads, Son of man, prophesy against Gog and say, This is what the sovereign Lord says, I am against you, Gog, chief prince of Rush, Meshech, and Tubal. I will turn you around and drag you along. I will bring you from the far north and send you against the mountains of Israel. Then I will strike your bow from your left hand and make your arrows drop from your right hand. On the mountains of Israel you will fall, you and all your troops and the nations with you. I will give you as food to all kinds of carrion birds and to the wild animals. You will fall in the open field, for I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. I will send fire on Magog and on those who live in safety in the coastlands, and they will know that I am the Lord. I will make known my holy name among my people Israel. I will no longer let my holy name be profaned, and the nations will know that I the Lord am the Holy One in Israel. It is coming. It will surely take place, declares the sovereign Lord. This is the day I have spoken of. Then those who live in the towns of Israel will go out and use the weapons for fuel and burn them up, the small and large shields, the bows and arrows, the war clubs and spears. For 7 years they will use them for fuel. They will not need to gather wood from the fields or cut it from the forests, because they will use the weapons for fuel. And they will plunder those who plundered them and loot those who looted them, declares the sovereign Lord. On that day I will give Gog a burial place in Israel, in the valley of those who travel east of the sea. It will block the way of travelers because Gog and all his hordes will be buried there. So, it will be called the valley of Ammon Gog. For 7 months the Israelites will be burying them in order to cleanse the land. All the people of the land will bury them, and the day I display my glory will be a memorable day for them, declares the sovereign Lord. People will be continually employed in cleansing the land. They will spread out across the land and, along with others, they will bury any bodies that are lying on the ground. After the 7 months they will carry out a more detailed search. As they go through the land, anyone who sees a human bone will leave a marker beside it until the gravediggers bury it in the valley of Ammon Gog, near a town called Hamanah. And so, they will cleanse the land. Son of man, this is what the sovereign Lord says, call out to every kind of bird and all the wild animals. Assemble and come together from all around to the sacrifice I am preparing for you, the great sacrifice on the mountains of Israel. There you will eat flesh and drink blood. You will eat the flesh of mighty men and drink the blood of the princes of the earth as if they were rams and lambs, goats and bulls, all of them fattened animals from Bashan. At the sacrifice I am preparing for you, you will eat fat till you are glutted and drink blood till you are drunk. At my table you will eat your fill of horses and riders, mighty men and soldiers of every kind, declares the sovereign Lord. I will display my glory among the nations, and all the nations will see the punishment I inflict and the hand I lay on them. From that day forward the people of Israel will know that I am the Lord their God. And the nations will know that the people of Israel went into exile for their sin, because they were unfaithful to me. So, I hid my face from them and handed them over to their enemies, and they all fell by the sword. I dealt with them according to their uncleanness and their offenses, and I hid my face from them. Therefore this is what the sovereign Lord says, I will now restore the fortunes of Jacob and will have compassion on all the people of Israel, and I will be zealous for my holy name. They will forget their shame and all the unfaithfulness they showed towards me when they lived in safety in their land with no one to make them afraid. When I have brought them back from the nations and have gathered them from the countries of their enemies, I will be proved holy through them in the sight of many nations. Then they will know that I am the Lord their God, for though I sent them into exile among the nations, I will gather them to their own land, not leaving any behind. I will no longer hide my face from them, for I will pour out my spirit on the people of Israel, declares the sovereign Lord. Who's who? As always, Israel is the center of the world as far as God is concerned. It therefore comes as no surprise to know that Israel will be the nation invaded. The prophecy tells us, You will advance against my people Israel like a cloud that covers the land. Before we consider the invaders, we should be aware of one fact: no one fully agrees where 50% of the nations identified are located today. For the purpose of unraveling this prophecy, I will give you a brief outline of why I believe certain modern-day nations are the ancient peoples mentioned and why. Others may disagree and present different arguments. Remember this: whoever invades Israel will be led by one man overseeing a joint coalition of nations. And no doubt, Israel will be attacked once again. We are told the prime aggressor is Gog, which is a title not a name. He's called a prince, making him one amongst many, as opposed to a king. In modern-day parlance, Gog could easily be replaced with the word chief or president. Indeed, some translations such as the NIV, do name Gog as chief prince. We also know Gog as the leader of Rush, Meshech, and Tubal. Where are these places today? Wilhelm Gesenius, the world-class Hebrew scholar, whose Hebrew lexicon has never been surpassed, states that Rush is Russia, Meshech is Moscow and Tubal the city of Tobolsk. I believe this view is correct, which makes Gog the president of Russia, whomever that will be when the Gog and Magog war begins. The next line of the prophecy is quite interesting. It reads, I will turn you around, put hooks in your jaws and bring you out with your whole army, your horses, your horsemen fully armed, and a great horde with large and small shields, all of them brandishing their swords. Gog might think it is his decision to invade Israel. The truth is different. God is the one ultimately in control. Scripture is clear on this matter. It is God who places the proverbial hook in Gog's mouth, pulling him towards conflict. The war to come is no random event but one predestined from the foundation of the world. When the hook is in place, Gog, like a horse with its bridle being tugged, will turn his attention towards Israel. He will advance, bringing with him a powerful army consisting of horses and horsemen, which today can be equated to mechanized armored units such as tanks and artillery. With them will be a great horde with large and small shields, and swords. In other words, infantry units. But Gog will not advance alone. He heads a coalition of nations, including Persia, Cush, and Put, as well as Gomer and Beth Togarmah, amongst many others. Each of these nations plays its role in the Gog and Magog war. Let us consider them one by one. First, we have Persia, which we already know to be Iran. No biblical, or for that matter secular scholar would dispute this. Despite a period of silence after the fall of Damascus, Iran's hostility towards Israel is still present. It will long to attack God's people as soon as the opportunity arises. In Iran's case, the following proverb is true: bloodthirsty people hate a man of integrity and seek the soul of the upright. Cush is a little harder to identify. Most biblical scholars place it south of Egypt, making it either Sudan or Ethiopia. The majority of modern English Bible translations of the original manuscripts don't help us in this matter. They simply retain the ancient name, thereby avoiding the problem. Not the King James Version KJV, or the New Living Testament NLT, which muddy the waters by inserting Ethiopia in the place of Cush. Let's look at the facts. Cush was the first son of Ham, who in turn was the second son of Noah. The Cushites migrated first to the Arabian Peninsula, and then across the Red Sea to the area south of Egypt. Ezekiel tells us that Egypt borders Cush. We also know that Cush was a place of rivers because the prophet Isaiah says, beyond the rivers of Cush. Take a look at a map. All the rivers that feed the Nile Delta flow through, or originate in Sudan, the Wadi Hawar, Wadi El Milk, Atbara, Mareb, Blue Nile and the White Nile. The same cannot be said of Ethiopia. The only sensible conclusion is that Cush is predominantly modern-day Sudan, but parts of Ethiopia may have been included within its borders. Our next ancient peoples are from Put. Most scholars believe this is Libya, whose lineage can be traced back to Ham's third son Put, who settled west of Egypt. However, I propose that the land of Put also encompasses Algeria, Tunisia, and Morocco. My reasoning stems from the book of Nahum, which says Put, and the Libyans were among the nations that supplied soldiers to fight against Nineveh. This implies Put must have been more than just the Libyan nation. As for the Gomerites, they were once called the Cimmerians, a people expelled from the Russian steppes by the Scythians, who forced them into Asia Minor around 700 BC. Even the renowned Greek historian Herodotus, and the philosopher Plutarch identified Gomer with the Cimmerians in their writings. Furthermore, the ancient world knew Gomer as Gimari, referred to as Cappadocia by the Romans at the time of Jesus. Today we know all these places as Turkey. Beth Togarmah is a land shrouded in mystery and dispute. Some scholars suggest that it lies to the southeast of Turkey on the Syrian border, whilst others hold the view it is located northeast of Israel, where the Stan nations, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan, are situated. I for one, lean towards the latter consensus, believing the Stan nations may well include Afghanistan and Pakistan. As a matter of fact, part of the prophecy predicts the presence of many nations with you, and this seems to be in harmony with this interpretation. In many ways, the location of these nation-states today is irrelevant. It really doesn't matter whether Beth Togarmah is Turkey or the Stans, or Kush is Ethiopia or Sudan. Russia will lead them all. And the all, with the exception of Russia, will be Islamic. We should not be shocked at this statement. In light of the destruction of the third holiest site of Islam, the Dome of the Rock, can we reasonably expect any other outcome?